All right, guys, this is the Angryprepper. So today's episode, we're going to talk about when to escape the city. Now, I live in the city, so talking about this is something that I have little knowledge in. I wouldn't say a lot because I'm not an expert in this, because I haven't had to escape the city. But I do know the signs that pop up when you need to bounce, when you need to get out of the city. So let's start with, why would you leave the city? Well, you would leave the city when the city is uninhabitable, when you can't live here anymore, when you can't walk outside without getting mugged, robbed, shot, raped, or killed. In that case, if you're killed, you're not going anywhere, right? But if you're living in the city and you're thinking about bugging out, you probably want to bug out long before you get to that point. Before you get to that point where it's not a viable city. If it becomes a non-viable city and then you think about leaving, it's too late. But should you, let's say, come to money, have an oh shit moment and go, oh man, I got to get out of here, there's a point in time where you're going to want to leave. Now, the list goes: civil unrest, an epidemic, a pandemic, a nuclear disaster, or a chemical disaster that makes the city inhabitable. Right, so same thing with a nuclear device. If it makes the city inhabitable. So if a small nuclear device goes off downtown right now, and the radiation doesn't come this way, and it goes whatever the way the wind goes, which is, let's say, southeast, if it goes in that direction, then I don't have to worry about leaving. If it goes northeast, I still don't have to worry about it because I'm far off to the west, if you will. But if a nuclear weapon, I'm talking about an actual atom bomb, or not an atom bomb, I'm sorry, a nuclear bomb from, let's say, North Korea drops on it, the city will become uninhabitable, right? You will have pockets of people that will stay behind, but for the most part, the city will probably be uninhabitable for a lot of reasons. Not just because of radiation, because so many other things are going to go down if you drop a nuke on a city like New York. If you drop a nuke on a city like New York, the city becomes instantaneously uninhabitable because the economy of the city is going to be crushed, destroyed, brought down to zero. And then the world economy is going to take a nice little nosedive dip, or even tank if there's a nuclear attack. Here in New York City, there wouldn't be anything to do. The businesses would have left. So many people would have died. So many people would be dying weeks later that the city would just become uninhabitable. So how would you leave the city? Well, you have a couple options. You got a vehicle, right? Now, vehicles today, I did this video a year ago, 2 years ago, before my channel got deleted. So when I did that video, e-bikes and e-scooters were not available. Now they are. And those unicycles, electronic unicycles, those e-unicycles, they're available now. So you have a few options as far as vehicle goes, right? So you have your car, you have your motorcycle if it's just you, you have bicycles, you have e-bikes, you have e-scooters, and then you have these e-unicycles, right? So you have these options to get you out of the city. Now, granted, guys, e-bike scooters and the e-unicycles are only going to last for so long, but as long as it gets you out of the city. That's the important thing. Who cares if it dies as soon as you get across the George Washington Bridge? It got you out of the main part of the city. Those bikes can go a pretty long way, and then after it loses charge, guess what you do? Put the bag in your back and you walk. All right? You also have your feet. You can do that as well, guys. You can walk. Remember the days when people just used to walk everywhere? That's what you're going to have to do. Which avenue are you going to take to escape? Well, here in New York, you have bridges and tunnels. That's it. Manhattan's an island. So, bridges and tunnels are your only way out. And if it was bad, and I mean really bad, and if the power was out, you can also entertain train tunnels. You got a couple of those around here that'll get you off this rock. But you can only take those tunnels if the power is off. You have to understand that. You cannot jump in the track and walk into Jersey via the Pat train tunnel unless the power is dead. That's the most important thing if you're going to do that, to get out of Manhattan. Other than that, I would stick to the bridges and even the tunnels. Keep in mind, all the bridges are, guys. Know where all your bridges are wherever you live. If you have to cross a bridge, know where they are and know what time of day there's traffic on it, know what time of day there isn't traffic on it, know what time of day when there's construction, if there's construction on it. You have to keep all of these in the back of your head, because if you have to bug out, you want to know, all right, I can't take this bridge, I got to take this bridge. I have four bridges that'll get me off this rock up here, up North Manhattan, if you will. So I know which bridges I can take, and there's 2 tunnels, but they're south of me, so I'm not going to head south to take the tunnel to go back north. I'll take the bridges up here to get me off Manhattan. When would you escape? Now, you would definitely escape if something bad happens immediately. That's when you get out of Dodge. But if you're looking at things unfold, you're going to want to start planning to get out of here. Now, like for myself, I'm hoping in the next year, I'm out of here. The family and I are gone, right? Because we're watching this city crumble. And it's crumbling fairly, I would say fairly fast. If you would ask me a couple months ago, I'd be like, it's slow, but now it's fast, because there are fist fights, stabbings, beatings, killings, and shootings every day now. Every day. Whereas before, it was like here and there, like once a week, twice a week. Now it's like every day. You look on your Citizen app and you just see the amount of assaults and beatings and things like that going on. It's insane. So, to leave, you have to use your judgment. That's a judgment call. That's entirely up to you, right? So now, if, let's say, an earthquake in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean happens, I get a warning. The next thing is for me to decide, do I leave or do I stay? Because of tsunami. So, to err on the side of caution, I would absolutely leave, wait a few hours, and then come back. But if you're going to leave, don't start screaming all the way out to your car. The sky's falling, there's a tsunami coming, and everybody run. Get in your car and bounce. Let your friends know and leave. That's all you can do. Trying to warn everybody that a tsunami's coming and it doesn't come, you're going to look like a nut. But then it does come, most people are not going to believe you. So it's entirely up to you how you want to proceed. But I would say get in my car and leave, or call my friends up as I'm getting in my shit and then leave. But you have to use your judgment when it comes to leaving, because you don't want to be like a lot of people with 2012. What did they do? They moved down south because they thought the earth was going to crack in two, that there was going to be a shift in the crust. And all these people moved downtown, uplifted their family, and for what? Nothing happened. So I hope a lot of those people have a better life now, but that's the kind of things you want to avoid. Or calling in to work, I'm not coming in because the tsunami's coming, and then hang up. You're probably not going to get your job back. So you got to be smart when it comes to bugging out and when. So when you're bugging out, guys, if you leave too late, you could be hurt or killed. If you leave too early, you could look like an idiot, if that makes any sense. Now, when you're bugging out, guys, you have to know your body. That's the most important thing, right? So when I mentioned bugging out on foot, if your e-bike dies, your e-scooter, or your e-unicycle, and now you have to walk on foot, you have to know your body. You have to know your health. Your health is important, because if you don't know your health and you're underplaying your health, meaning, oh, I got this. I used to do this when I was in the Marines 25 years ago. Oh, I was a Boy Scout. We hiked all the time 40 years ago. Don't rely on what you used to do. Know what you can do now, because that's going to carry you through. And if you're not in shape, get in shape, right? Put the fucking bonbons down and start walking. Put the Kit Kat away, throw the fucking Twix in the garbage can, and start walking. Get into some kind of shape. No one's asking you to get in Arnold Schwarzenegger shape, right? Or CrossFitter shape. We're saying get into some kind of shape, because if you have to walk, guys, you're going to feel it. Now, quick story. I had a woman in my group, my prepper group. We had our first bug out weekend. And this lady says, I can handle it. I used to backpack France. Oh, okay. And like an idiot, I was like, oh, okay. And so we start hiking in the woods, and we start going to the bug out location, and this lady was destroyed. And it wasn't even that long of a walk. She was destroyed. So she sits down, and I ask her, how long ago was it when you were backpacking France? She goes, 25 years ago. I was like, motherfucker. If she would have told me that, I would have been like, all right, listen, we're going to take another route, or we're going to drive you right to the bug out location and then, have you do it. But she was living in the past. and that hurt her for that bug out retreat weekend. So you got to know your body, guys. You got to know your current state of your body, not your past state of your body. Yes, I get it that if you used to bench press, 525 back in the days, that does not mean you can get back under the bar 20 years later and hit 525 again. That's out. The same goes for walking, the same goes for running. So guys, know the current state of your body, and bugging out and escaping the city is going to fare well for you. But if you're out of shape, escaping the city is not going to fare well for you. The other thing about escaping the city is routes, guys. You got to take the route you know. So you have to plan your way out of the city. You're not going to spitball and go, oh, it's time for me to leave, and just hit the street. Know the route you want to take. Know the fastest route to the bridge or to your way off, let's say Manhattan, for example. Know the fastest routes. Know how to get to shortcuts. Plan backup routes, just in case the route that you originally planned gets blocked off or some crazy shit happens. Now you have a backup route. Walk that backup route, walk the main route, walk both routes, guys. Even drive it if you don't want to walk it. I would say walk it to get into shape, but walk or drive those routes and see where it goes and see where it takes you and see what's in the way, what's not in the way. That doesn't mean that things can't change by the time you have to bug out, but at least you get an idea of where you're going and how you're going. So the route that I have out of the city on foot, I've taken it a few times. So I know that it's fairly clear, but things can change. And it also depends on what's going on, right? So if it's a giant blizzard, when you decide to bug out, the route that you're taking could be compromised. If you wait too long and now you got roving gangs in the city or the area you live in, that path could be compromised. So you got to come up with a backup plan and then another backup plan to that. I am going to talk about drones in the city, or drones as your scouting device, where you can send a drone ahead and see whether that path is cleared and then walk that path. You can do that. I'm going to do a longer version on the drones and prepping probably in the next couple weeks, but it's something to consider as a tool. And I know it's another item you don't need to carry, but I can tell you this much. If you fly a drone when you're bugging out and you get to see your path is clear or not clear, that drone just saved your life. That extra piece of equipment you didn't want to carry possibly saved your life. So keep that in mind, guys. Also, with routes, your driving route is also important. Sorry that I failed to mention that. Your driving route is important. Make sure you have a driving route. Make sure you have a walking route. And if you're taking an e-bike or anything like that, make sure you have a route for that as well, right? Because there are places you can go with an e-bike, e-scooter, and a unicycle and your foot that you cannot go with a car. But your car, you're obviously going to be on the road. So you want to map that out as well with your car, or for your car, and you want to have a backup plan for your car. For example, with my car, if I can get to the George Washington Bridge, and if the George Washington Bridge is clogged with traffic, guess what? Dump the car, walk on foot. Same thing with your e-bike. Let's say you're cruising along and you blow a tire. If you don't have a spare tire, guess what you're doing? You're dumping the bike, you're walking on foot. So you have to come up with alternative backup plans to your routes and the vehicles and the means of escaping. If you have a car, you have to think of the backup plan if your car dies or something crazy happens or you get stuck in traffic. Now you have to have a foot plan, right? If you have an e-bike or an e-scooter and that dies, you have to have a foot backup plan, walking plan, if that makes any sense. These are things on how to get out of the city. As far as reading the city, something that's going on right here, right now, guys, this is a steady decline. It's not a nosedive, it's a steady decline. Fast, but still steady, and I can see it coming. Things that you can't see coming is something, those are the likely things that are going to get you out of the city faster, right? So obviously, again, a pandemic that has a 35-40% mortality rate, you're getting the fuck out before it even gets to that point, right? You see it coming. But a nuclear attack or nuclear bombing or dirty bomb attack, those you might not see coming, right? Depends on the delivery. You might not see it coming. So again, those are things that are going to make you bug out. Some people were considering bugging out when the Trade Center was attacked. The Trade Center was a localized event. So if something like that happens again, you got to go, whoa, look at it, analyze it, and go, all right, I'm not bugging out because that was in that one area. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching.